we probably do 90% of the city centre now,
Really?
either in the vans or on the bikes.
Wow.
I'm managing a fleet, I'm recruiting, managing the drivers,
Yeah.
we're managing what's on road, and we're managing the relationship,
Yeah.
and then working with the different suppliers that bring it all together and make it happen.
When did you start feeling like, you know, a logistics business owner? When did you get that sort of, was it when you first started launching routes, or?
Haven't got there yet. Had a varied career in retail and marketing and consultancy.
Yeah.
So I'd worked with big companies like Marks and Spencer, Disney.
Nice. People have no idea when it comes to running a logistics company how much you've got to think about.
Yeah.
The ball bearings on a bike.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is how you deliver using these vehicles in this sort of terrain. It works really, really well. And then you can replicate that from city to city. We know that area. We've got the skill set for really hard geography. And we know how to solve the problems. And
yeah, have you become like a cycle lane aficionado now? Then
no, I'm not. I'm tricky.
Working with the right broker
Yeah.
on the insurance side as well.
Yeah.
Because you work with
We're with HRIB.
with
and Flock.
HRIB, yeah, like trust claims and
that's really unbelievable.
Yeah.
That has made a massive difference.
Yeah.
You know, Flock is brilliant. They've got so much safety information on the portal that we have with them
Okay.
that we can see each van every day.
How quick did you sort of start and then go, actually, this is impossible to do on my own?
6 weeks before we launched. Seriously.
Rob, thanks so much for joining us.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So should we kick off a little bit about you and your background, how you sort of got into this and what you was doing before logistics?
So I had a varied career in retail and marketing and consultancy.
Yeah.
So I'd worked with big companies like Marks and Spencer, Disney.
Nice.
Went in the management consultancy route for a couple of years. Went to lived in the States with the family, set up business over there,
Yeah.
and then came back, carried on with the consultancy work, and then the pandemic hit. And I was all of a sudden sat at home twiddling my thumbs.
Yeah.
Lost all my consultancy clients overnight because no one wants a consultant when the pandemic hits.
Yeah, of course.
And I couldn't get out to the States to run the US business. So I was doing that from home.
Okay.
And then I just saw online this advert for Amazon looking for DSPs. I thought, okay, give it a go. Could be interesting. Not really got any logistics experience, but had the business experience managing people. And I thought, give it a go.
Yeah.
See what happens. And the process went quite quickly.
Yeah.
Within a couple of weeks, I was going through the interview program with them, finding out more about it, and then got offered it probably within about 4 weeks.
Wow. That's quick.
So it was really, really quick.
Really quick, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was 6 years ago?
Yeah, that would have been March, April 2020.
Wow.
We started on that.
It's crazy. Isn't it?
Did the training probably the May, June sort of time.
Yeah.
And then launched it in August.
What does training look like, Rob? What does training look like?
It was all online. I think we spent a week online, 'cause that's the only way you could do it.
Yeah,
you couldn't do
course.
anything face to face at that stage. So there was a cohort of maybe 8 of us
Yeah.
that did learning about what it was to be a DSP,
Wow.
learned about the service partners
Yeah.
that were on there. And then I actually went into a station.
Yeah.
I said, before I actually embark on this, I want to go into a station.
Okay, nice.
Went over to Sheffield,
Okay.
masked up,
Yeah.
saw Ed over there,
Yeah.
saw how he was doing it. I thought, I can't do that. Ed was my inspiration.
Yeah.
But I thought, no, actually, I can do it.
Yeah.
And it's just using different skills and honing those different skills.
Yeah, of course,
And then I spent quite a long time between the training and actually launching, setting up a huge amount of the auditing side of things.
Okay.
Auditing is still very big with Amazon.
Yeah.
But it was huge then. And it was almost just setting up the documents, the contracts that we needed to have, the policies that needed to be in place.
Yeah.
And it was quite good that I wasn't in another job.
Yeah.
And the pandemic was there, so we're all working from home.
Cool.
So I was really able to focus on setting that side of the business up, which is actually really good.
Yeah.
Because it is important, and it was key to have those disciplines in place,
Yeah.
ready for when we launched the business.
For sure, yeah. So you launched in the March 20.
Well, so yeah, we got it in the March, April sort of time.
Yeah.
Did the training probably May, June.
Yeah.
And then launched actually in August.
Okay, you launched in August.
Yeah.
What were those first sort of few weeks, months like?
It was really bizarre. It was like an escapism because I was able to leave home, able to go into a work environment and see real people.
Yeah,
even from 2 meters, you could still see them.
Yeah.
And it was nice to actually interact with people again.
Yeah.
And it was exciting. Yeah, we're starting to interview people.
Yeah.
Setting up the business, starting to build a team. But it was still an unknown.
Yeah.
It was, okay, these beautiful gleaming vans that weren't damaged arrived. Yeah.
Different story now.
Yeah, different story now. Yeah. That'll come later on in this talk, no doubt.
Yeah.
We were receiving the vans and then launch day happened late August. And I remember that the first 5 vans went out en route, taking the picture of everybody wearing their masks and sort of like 2 meters apart and going out on the routes. And, nursery routes were very different in those days. I think they were 50% of a full route. And even a full route was nothing like it is these days.
Yeah, true, yeah.
I remember welcoming one of the drivers back at the end of the day. He said, "Rob, I need to go home and soak my feet now."
It's a strenuous job, isn't it? It's highly active.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't realise that bit of it. It's really interesting, right? Because that's obviously when you launched your business at exact same time we started Wise. Moved from Go Drive over to sort of building the Wise brand.
Yeah.
But we were exactly the same. It was like pandemic. We didn't really know what was going to happen with logistics and whatever else, but they become a real public service, didn't they, during that time? Because you couldn't get anything without a delivery driver, could you, for a while?
No, but we ramped up really quickly. And it was much easier to recruit drivers. Of course. Then, we're getting highly skilled people, but we're on furlough and thought, I can earn some extra money here.
Yeah.
And it was easy to drive around. There was no traffic.
Yeah.
Everybody was in, and demand was going up.
Yeah. I think that really helped Amazon at the time as well, because that first sort of few cohorts of DSP owners, lots of them are still around now. They got the cream of the crop really, because they got like people like yourselves who are ex, management consultants and whatever else, people that probably wouldn't traditionally have thought to themselves of starting a logistics business.
Would never have thought about it.
No, of course not. So they got some really great business owners, and I think it is something that I wouldn't say they've struggled with since then, but definitely wouldn't have been as easy for them either.
No.
Because they had their choice of business owners. You had your choice of drivers.
Yeah.
The vehicles were the commodity.
Yeah. And there were plenty of vehicles.
I
think that where Amazon was at the time is that they'd launched the program 12 months beforehand.
Yeah.
And they must have ordered a whole load of vans in anticipation of growing.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever thought they would grow quite as quickly as they actually did.
No.
But at least they had those vans there in place to be able to do it.
Yeah, of course,
And that was brilliant.
And you said you grew quickly, Rob. What does that actually look like? So obviously 5 routes on your first day, that peak that year.
So by peak, we were at 40 routes.
Wow.
Yeah, we were massive.
That is crazy.
And we'd also taken on an initiative in the Manchester depot that we preloaded the vans through the night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they literally by 6 o'clock in the morning, those vans were full, ready to go out.
Really? So what time was you waving then in that?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, it was 6:30.
Wow.
So we were parking all the drivers off-site.
Yeah.
They had coaches bringing them in.
Yeah.
And we had 40 vans actually on the yard ready for them to go. So they weren't picking the vans up from the off-site car park.
Okay.
They were literally picking them up from the Amazon depot.
Really?
And they were going out. And it was brilliant.
Yeah, of course,
they were home way before lunchtime.
Yeah, cool. Because all the roads are dead at that time as well, right?
So they were dead.
Yeah,
and the routes weren't huge because the volume that was coming in through the night was the first part of the volume, so it's much smaller.
Yeah.
So they probably only had 80 to 100 stops.
Really?
On there throughout the whole of peak.
It's like half of what it is now, right? Jeez.
And it was an absolute dream for these guys.
Yeah, of course.
Just to go out. Yeah. And the depot needed it because of the social distancing.
Yeah.
If they could get 40 routes out before anyone else even turned up and before they started staging everything, it was so much easier for them. And that depot was the largest depot in the world.
Was it?
Over that peak.
Really?
They did the most volume. New York had previously had it, and they beat New York hands down.
You wouldn't think it, would you?
No.
But yeah.
But it was purely little things like that they could get.
Of course,
that first wave out.
That is mad. I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a super early sort of wave time, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's probably unheard of now, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're getting later.
Well, they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So customers were still in bed.
Yeah, of course.
So they were literally just leaving the parcels in the blue bins on the doorsteps, and everyone was happy with that. Yeah, as long as we were notifying people that it was there, and customers were happy that the parcels were there first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And they were well on the way.
Love that. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm going off script a little bit here. I'm asking you questions you weren't prepared for. That's what I do on these. So I surprise people. But of course, not coming from logistics, I guess that first few months would have felt, like a bit sort of fish out of water almost. When did you start feeling like a logistics business owner? When did you get that sort of? Was it when you first started launching routes, or?
Haven't got there yet.
Okay, well,
it was easier because Amazon take care of a lot of it for you. So you get the routes that they're all in cages, they're all ordered.
Yeah.
You know where to put them in the van.
Yeah.
So from that side of it, morning's relatively easy.
Yeah.
Then the route's all on the device. So the driver knows where to go, what to do, et cetera, et cetera. So you're more managing your drivers and Amazon.
Course,
and it's that side of it. So I never really class myself as a real logistics person because I'm not. It's not like I'm planning those routes.
Yeah,
I'm managing a fleet. I'm recruiting, managing the drivers. We're managing what's on road, and we're managing the relationship. And then working with the different suppliers that bring it all together and make it happen.
No, that is. You are right. I mean, look, obviously I spend a lot of time dealing with other parcel networks, and I was actually talking about this last week to someone. Amazon's operation, in terms of actually getting vehicles out of the depots, is incredible. Yeah, it's actually
relatively smooth, to be fair. You might complain, but it's smooth.
It's nowhere near, like no one else gets near them in terms of that.
Yeah,
that sort of depot experience, from the drivers actually getting to depot and leaving, that no one gets close to them from that perspective, and they've really got that side of it nailed, and I think that's why they can get so much volume out of those depots.
Well, it also sets the driver up for success during the day as well.
Of course it does, and it means that they're not providing service for as many hours, right?
Yeah,
because other networks, they'll spend 2 hours loading the vans in the morning. Do you know what I mean? So
that's a frustrating 2 hours.
It is frustrating, because they're organising them, putting them in the right order and thinking. There is a little bit of a difference, which is, and I think the more sophisticated drivers, they're a bit more like posties outside of the Amazon network. They start to learn their routes and think, I know where that person lives, and I think they organise. But that only comes with time.
Correct.
Whereas an Amazon driver can walk in and pretty much on day one, they can do a route successfully because it's all organised for them in the right way.
But a lot of our drivers do keep on the same routes day after day.
Okay. That's
so they get to know their area, they get to know the best way to navigate that route each day, which helps them.
That does, and that's obviously a big part of self-employment, right? They've got that freedom to sort of think, I might do it a little bit different, or I know where to park to deliver, a handful of parcels.
So they'll do some on foot, some in the van, and work it out for themselves.
And also, you've got the bike side.
We have, so we launched the bikes in October last year. So that's adding a new dimension. which is really helping us actually deliver in Manchester city centre.
Yeah, of course.
It's much easier.
Yeah,
you're less worried about the bus lane fines, the parking fines.
Yeah,
it's easier to navigate.
Delivering to like tower blocks and stuff like that, and apartments.
Yeah,
right. So much easier.
Correct.
Because I mean, there's lots of city centres. I mean, the one that I can think of that is particular. I mean, Manchester and Birmingham and London obviously are bad, but then you've got like city centres like Leeds as well, which are terrible for bus lanes and delivering to. So I'd imagine that, and obviously then you've got the environmental side of it as well, right?
Correct.
So no, it's great. They look great, those bikes.
They are really good. Yeah, they're great to ride as well. I love it.
I guess the only downside of it is obviously in the winter, right? But in the summer months,
I think some of the riders, we've predominantly done throughout the winter so far.
Yeah, okay.
And we make sure that they've got waterproof clothing and everything like that.
Yeah,
but they quite like it.
Yeah,
it's a couple of miles to go from the depot into the city centre.
Yeah,
and they've got to do that a couple of times.
Yeah,
it's good. It's a good way to keep fit.
You definitely.
But
right,
they keep warm.
Yeah,
and they keep on going. And some of them will do 2-3 routes a day comfortably.
Really?
Yeah.
So coming backwards and forwards.
Coming backwards and forwards today. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's good. So that's going to be the next challenge for the whole thing, is to say, right, how do we take the parcels actually to the city centre? How do we make it a lot more efficient and get more out of those bikes? They're losing a huge amount in that stem time at the moment.
I guess what it wouldn't surprise me if Amazon are looking at how they can use things like lockers and things like that. Do you know what I mean? So I know that other people have looked at delivering to lockers and then delivery drivers going to lockers and then delivering to doorsteps, because that would make a
I think that they need some form of infrastructure actually into the city centre. And I don't know what it's like in Birmingham, I don't know what it's like in Leeds, where the actual depots are.
Yeah,
but that's going to be the next constraint. Amazon, because they don't have city centre depots at the moment, but they're going to need to do that, because then they can also say, well, we're doing next day, but what about same day? What about customer pickups, customer drop-offs, returns? How do we get the fresh produce to customers in the city centre a lot quicker as well?
I think in the US, four states in the US, or not before cities actually, states, they're trialing like 30 minutes.
30 minutes, that launched last week.
Oh, that launched last week?
Yeah.
I've seen that, and I've seen someone say, actually, it's a really good point. Do people need stuff in half an hour? But it ain't the fact you need it, it's just you've got the option.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the thing.
Yeah, but you use Uber Eats?
Yeah, of course, It's the same
thing, isn't it?
Same thing, yeah.
Yeah, the amount of bikes that you see riding around at the moment.
No, he's great.
Big industry.
Yeah, it is, you're right.
We've got a guy just around the corner from where I live. He's got this little cafe, and it's probably the size of this room, little coffee shop, and he's got a pizza oven in the back.
Oh, really?
And he closes at 5:30, and between 5:30 and 9:30 he does pizzas, and he uses Uber Eats to deliver it.
It's clever, isn't it?
Yeah,
if you can get it, he's really clever. But you're right though about the infrastructure side. How far is the Manchester depot from the city centre?
It's probably 2-3 miles.
Is it? It's the same as the Birmingham one then. So
yeah,
DBO2, which is in Tisley, he's probably about 20 minutes to city centre.
Yeah.
But the problem is obviously when there's traffic and whatever else, that makes it a lot
it's quite good with the bikes, because they can get through the traffic.
Yeah,
they can use the cycle lanes.
Yeah.
So for us, when Man United are playing at home, it's much easier on the bikes then to be able to get through that traffic.
Yeah, I bet, Of course, all right, well, that's a really great background there. And obviously you mentioned there that growth from 5 to 40 routes super quick.
Yeah.
How did you handle that sort of scaling? That's a big increase in routes over a short period of time. How did you?
It's risk taking.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember like Christmas. I remember speaking to my business coach at the time, Alistair, and he took a gamble. He said, look, in order to do this, we need more vans, and they actually allowed us to self-source.
Okay.
Right, which that's obviously something that they're looking at now, but back 6 years ago, that wasn't a thing.
Okay.
And he said, just go and get them.
Wow. Okay.
We'll sort it out. And I remember him getting a telling off for saying, we haven't authorised this, but they did, and it worked for us.
Okay.
Yeah, we just said we need it. We know we can grow. We know we can take the volume.
Yeah.
Let's just push that envelope a little bit further.
Okay.
To see what we can do, Amazon likes that. They like the initiative.
Yeah, of course.
They like you working with them.
Yeah.
To say, right, okay, how do we try and solve the problem? and make it work. And it is the relationship works when you work with them.
No, that's great to hear. Yeah. Didn't realise they let self-sourcing that first year.
Well, I don't think they officially did.
Oh, but that's
by default.
By default. Okay, but that was the key to sort of getting that.
Yeah, that's
that
what
growth.
And that then pushed us, because it allowed us to then grow into the following year.
Yeah.
And to keep those routes and to gain percentage. And we got rewarded by being in the city centre and university routes. That was really good.
Yeah.
That's sarcasm.
Yeah.
Wasn't right. Yeah, but we were given a really bad area and a tough area that people had failed in previously.
Okay.
And over the years, we've struggled with it, but we've worked out how to solve the problem in there. And 5 years after being given it, we're still in the city centre.
Yeah.
And actually, we probably do 90% of the city centre now, either in the vans or on the bikes.
Wow. That's a
achievement, isn't it? Yeah. And we're now getting a fantastic scorecard by doing it. So that is unheard of, having Manchester city centre and having the bikes in there and getting a fantastic scorecard.
Wow.
It is pretty unbelievable.
That is great. And does that learning and scaling and optimizing ever end?
No, I don't think it does, because I think you're always learning. Things are always changing.
Yeah, they are.
The demand for the metrics is changing. The technology is always changing.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of different things that are in there that you've just got to continually improve.
Yeah.
And hopefully that will hold us in good stead, within Amazon.
Yeah.
And if ever we looked at different suppliers to say, we know that area, we've got the skill set for really hard geography, and we know how to solve the problems. And
really good point, because that city centre expertise is really valuable, right? You can only get that expertise by doing it.
Correct. Particularly with the e-cargo bikes, that's a completely new dynamic, and it's also a different type of rider that's delivering those parcels. So they need different training.
Yeah, of course.
But once we can crack it, and once we say, right, okay, this is how you deliver using these vehicles in this sort of terrain, it works really, really well. And then you can replicate that from city to city.
Was it a big shift going from the vans to the bikes? Did it take a big shift from a recruitment perspective, or?
Yeah, recruitment is different. It's much easier.
Okay.
They don't need to have a full driving license.
Of course, that's the first tick, right?
Yeah, the whole insurance criteria is completely different as well. So that was new.
Yeah.
And also the vehicles. We've got one of the new e-cargo bikes, which is a new generation, and we thought they were going to be all singing or dancing, but they've come with their problems as well. They haven't really been tested as well as everyone thought they had been.
Yeah.
So we're experiencing all different issues with those, and we're having to adapt our team to be able to help repair them.
Yeah.
How do we problem solve any issues that we have with them, and work with different suppliers to keep those on road longer?
Okay.
And it's new for Amazon as well. They're experiencing whole different things as they're rolling that out as well.
I know they have had bikes for a while, haven't they? But they've never, I don't feel they've ever gone big on them.
No, they've had them for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I think there was a lot of learning in those 3 years.
Yeah.
That they're now trying to use. They need to roll this program out.
Yeah, they do.
Definitely. Yeah, and they need to roll it out to multiple depots.
Yeah, because I've not heard of many people having the bike. So it must be.
No, I think there's probably only be 10 of us, if that, in the UK at the moment.
Okay.
But it will grow quite quickly, I think.
I'd imagine so, because it just feels like, it does feel a little bit like the future, doesn't it, to have that sort of flexibility. What does it look like? I'm just asking questions now, just out of my own interest.
Yeah.
Do you get much damage on the bikes and stuff like that?
Starting to a little bit.
Oh, really?
Actually, yeah. Is the navigation system can take you down cycle tracks, which actually are too narrow for the bikes. So, I never really looked at cycle paths before this, but there's lots of street furniture. So you can often have a cycle path going underneath a sign, a road sign, which actually, with the poles for the sign, actually you can struggle to get through. or cars can park across a cycle path,
course, yeah.
and then you've got to try and back up to try and get out of them and crash into all sorts of things. So you do get a lot of scraping down the side of them.
Got you. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Have you become like a cycle lane aficionado now? Then
No, I'm not that much of a geek. My wife might think I'm a bit of a nerd, but
you're not constantly analysing cycle lanes.
Try not to. No, but
okay,
it's but yeah. So there are challenges, and then also depending on the road types as well, that has a massive effect on the ball bearings and the drive shafts. Everything. You'd be surprised.
This is the thing. I was saying this on another podcast not too long ago. People have no idea when it comes to running a logistics company how much you've got to think about.
Yeah,
the ball bearings on a bike.
Yeah,
I mean, that's one of your daily thoughts.
I know we had to replace all the ball bearings on the bikes.
Yeah, you said. Yeah.
So we had to take the whole fleet off road for 3-4 days in order to be able to do it.
It's crazy, and that's one of the things you got to think about. And so, Rob, before I forget, you said a phrase a minute ago, and I want to know if this is like common parlance for people that have e-bikes. Sure. Street furniture.
Street furniture.
Is that just some
road signs?
Yeah, road signs. Is that a made up term, or is that what that is?
No, I think that is a general.
Is it? There you go. Street furniture.
Yeah, you need to look that one up.
Yeah, look that one up.
Yeah, I'm checking GT later.
Street furniture. Okay. So going back a little bit, growing, the business as you have, at what point did you launch and then go, right, I can't do this on my own. I need, OSMs, or I need other people around me to support the business. Because I know that quite famously, it's not really recognised as an official role, right? But everyone has them.
You need them.
You need them. How quick did you sort of start and then go, actually, this is impossible to do on my own?
6 weeks before we launched. Seriously.
Okay, I love that. Yeah. So you hadn't even started and you were like, this is impossible.
Well, no, I knew. I knew I had the business in the States.
Yeah.
So I knew that once everything settled down, I'd need to go back and forth to the States, as I do. I'm there 4 or 5 times a year. So I knew that would need to continue.
Yeah.
And I also knew that I didn't want to work 7 days a week.
Of course, yeah.
On it. Even though I'm there and looking at it and working on it 7 days a week, I didn't physically want to be in the depot and in the office.
Yeah.
And I knew nothing about delivering.
Yeah, of course.
So I stole my DPD driver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So Matt, who knew my wife as well as I did, because he delivered to her every day, if not twice a day. Yeah. I was having a conversation with Karen and I said, right, okay, I need help here. Should speak to Matt.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So went for a couple of beers with Matt.
Yeah.
And I think he looked at me like I was someone from Mars.
Yeah.
And he started thinking about it. He thought, okay, maybe.
Okay.
And so I brought him in from, say, literally probably, I think he started 2 weeks before we physically launched.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Gave back his DPD franchise.
Yeah.
And he's been there with me ever since.
Great idea.
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
And I really needed that because he knew how to deliver.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I had skills that he didn't have, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And that's what's worked really well.
Yeah.
So from that early day, and from that time, we said, right, okay, how do we do this? How do we bring people in? Where do we get the support?
Yeah.
So when we launched in Warrington, when we got the second depot, so we were the first DSP in Europe to get a second depot and to launch into there.
Wow.
Again, put a full team in there straight away. Brought people on for fleet as the fleet started to age.
Yeah.
And become more damaged and need more work on it. So right, we need a fleet manager.
Yeah.
I was doing lots of the recruitment, then realised, okay, we need a recruitment manager in there as well. I realised quite quickly I just couldn't do everything myself. And didn't want to. I can be a bit of a control freak with these sort of things. And I thought, okay, I've got to really step back and make sure that I've got a team in place to do it.
And what does the size of the team look like now, Rob? So take the drivers out of it.
Oh, God. So we've probably got a team of about 140, 150 at the moment.
Yeah,
including the drivers and riders.
Yeah.
And there's probably 8 OSMs.
8 OSMs?
8, yeah. So fleet managers, recruitment,
Jeez.
day-to-day. Yeah, we're running 3 different teams.
Of course, yeah.
We've got Warrington, Manchester, and the bikes.
Yeah, of course.
And each of those need 2 OSMs in them.
Wow. And then that experience of going into multiple sites.
Yeah.
Because I've always felt from dealing with DSPs for 6 years now, that the best ones are the ones that really understand the depots and are in there and understand the drivers as well. What was that experience like going into a second site? Because then your focus is sort of split, right?
It was. It was a good challenge, but Warrington is very different to Manchester.
Okay.
So Warrington's purpose-built site, much newer site, smaller site, and not a major city.
Yeah, of course.
As Manchester is.
Yeah.
So Manchester is a lot more challenging than Warrington.
Oh, really?
So for me, that probably made it easier.
Because you're going the other way. You've got to go from Warrington to Manchester.
No, that would have been much, much harder doing it that way.
Yeah.
So I've had confidence in the team there that I've been able to just let them get on with it.
Okay, that's good.
And whether I'm in there once, twice a week, seeing them or managing it from further afield, it is much easier to do. But that's also a smaller depot for us. Manchester remains the biggest depot. That's doing in vans 35 plus vans a day out of there, whereas Warrington's doing 24 probably. So
not massively smaller, but
not massively smaller, but it is. It's easier to manage.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it's easy to manage the fleet in Warrington because they've got undercover car parks in there, whereas Manchester's still on an outside car park as well.
Yeah. Okay, like you said, it's purpose built though, wasn't it? So the Manchester one, I'd imagine, would have been one of the really early sites, whereas
it's a very early legacy.
Warrington a bit later. You see that with the Amazon depots, they definitely do. I know they're doing a big upgrade of depots at the moment, aren't they? But they definitely, the newer sites, they learn from previous sites and they really do improve them, don't they?
Yeah, because Manchester's going through huge developments at the moment.
Yeah, there's lots of the older sort of sites, again, DBI2, the original Birmingham one, it's going through a massive revamp at the moment. And that's cut the volumes back, hasn't it, temporarily?
It has done, although Manchester hasn't seemed to suffer. So they're going through their second year of redevelopment.
Yeah.
They put new internal mechs in last year, and they've now taken one of those out temporarily because they're putting in a second floor for the same day deliveries.
Yeah.
So they'll bring in, I don't know, it's about 20,000 SKUs.
It's crazy.
That they'll bring in that can then be delivered same day, out on vans, out on bikes. But then we're all going to change on that because there's going to be fresh food in there eventually.
Of course.
So, do we need different vans to deliver in?
Yeah, refrigerated ones.
Refrigerated. How do we do that on the bikes?
Yeah.
How can we increase the bike volume?
Of course.
In order to be able to do same day from that depot as well. So it's going to change so much more.
Yeah, it's
again
crazy,
within the next 12, 18 months.
They're not slowing down, are they, to be fair?
No.
Amazon, they still want to grow. I know that they've probably throttled it a little bit this year because they're doing such a big investment, but they're doing the investment because on the other side of it, they want tons more volume.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. So, no, but look, they are I would say Amazon and DPD, if you're getting a parcel from one of those two companies, you're pretty guaranteed you're going to get it.
Yeah.
Right. And Amazon are brilliant at. I can't think of a single time when I haven't got a package from Amazon. I don't think I've ever had an instance where something hasn't been delivered.
One time.
Yeah.
But then generally it's, I think it hasn't been delivered, but it's been delivered to a neighbour or something like that.
You think, I don't know about your house, but my house is borderline Amazon depot itself. We get parcels.
Literally, at least once a day. There's something coming.
100%. Yeah. We get a ridiculous amount, especially when we're about to go away on holidays and stuff.
Yeah.
The Amazon parcels just take a complete.
But it's easy.
It's just so easy. They got everything, haven't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, no, they are the masters at that. Okay, so tracking back a little bit, because I think it'd be really interesting for people listening that maybe are thinking about setting up an Amazon DSP or approaching the program. We've talked about it a little bit, but about the time it took. But what was the actual process? Was it an apply online and then an interview? And what does that actual process look like?
It was apply online. Then you had to put an application together.
Yeah.
And I probably spent about 4 or 5 days putting this application together.
Okay.
So
you really went through
it. That's just me, trying to think through it properly, and put something down on paper. Then that processed really, really quickly. They said you'll hear it within 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I think I heard within 24 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That I got to the next stage.
Yeah.
And then the next stage was it was an AI interview, believe it or not.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Going back, it was because you couldn't do face to face, so literally I had to sit in front of a computer, and it would ask you questions, and then you could practice the answer to the question, and then you had to record it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Quite revolutionary for 6 years.
It was. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was a little bit daunting because I'd never done anything like that before.
Yeah.
And then the next stage after that, which again heard quite quickly, we were progressing, was then face-to-face interviews, obviously online.
Yeah.
I think I had 3 of those.
Okay.
Might be in HR, finance, and operations.
Yeah.
People.
Okay.
And then that led through then to say, right, we want you on the program.
Brilliant.
And then it was just looking at the legals for it and dealing with bits and pieces like that.
Okay.
And then on to the training.
Okay. And obviously, Rob, you've done this for a long time now.
Yeah.
6 years. And you'd have seen new DSPs come into the program, maybe some leave the program. What do you think? Do you think Amazon are looking for something in particular when they bring a new DSP on? You might have evolved over time.
Wow. I think they're looking at self-starters, people that are good at managing others.
Yeah.
I think managing cash flow is the key.
Okay.
Yeah, Amazon pay at the right times. Yeah, they pay very, very quickly.
Yeah.
They are good payers. But you've still got to manage that cash flow. So they'll often pay you in advance for like your van rental, for example. And people might look at it and say, oh, I've got a nice chunk of money sitting in the bank there.
Yeah.
But you've got to realise actually that money is going to go out again. And that's a particular problem for people over the Christmas period.
Yeah.
That a lot of money comes in October, November and December.
Yeah.
And then goes out in February, March and April.
Yeah, of course.
So you've really got to manage that properly.
Okay.
And you've got to work with people like Wise. That's helpful because you're doing your compliance, the contracting for the riders and drivers. It's keeping you safe. And it means that you're going to pass the audits with Amazon if you're doing everything properly with a partner like Wise. And then it's easier to manage the cash flow, paying the drivers, and doing the payroll side of things.
Cash flow is so important. I mean, it's important in every business, right? I mean, we spend at Wise, probably a couple of hours per week talking about, ins and outs, and we've got in our world, we've got something called exceptionals, which is basically things that you spend money on that you're not planning to spend on again, but they never seem to go down.
No,
so they're
always happen all the time.
They're not very exceptional because they're always there. Managing cash flow. And I think, I've seen some really great operators, DSPs that I thought are really one in your, I won't now say their name, one in your area actually. I thought was a fantastic operator, but didn't make it as a DSP, and it was all money based. Not being able to manage the cash flow side correctly.
So if you can do that, and then if you can manage the relationship with the partner, and whether that's Amazon, DPD, FedEx, it doesn't matter. You've got to manage that relationship with them. And is it a customer supplier relationship? Is it a partner relationship? And there's always going to be blurred lines between it. But fundamentally, we're all there to do the same thing. We're there to deliver parcels to the end customer and provide a good service. And we'll all do it in our own ways, in different ways. And I think that's what Amazon likes as well. But you've got to work with them. They set the rules of the game. And you've got to understand what those rules are and how they want you to operate. And that's how you'll set yourself up for success with it.
I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you said that, the auditing side, and something that Amazon have always taken really seriously.
And quite rightly.
And I think, they're a big name, so they're always a target for, your law firms and whatever, just because it's a good scalp to have Amazon on your books, right? They're not going to want Bob's Logistics, right? They want Amazon. But I think one thing I'll say for them, which they've definitely stuck to their guns on, is they want that fairness in the network, right? They want the DAs, the drivers, to be paid sort of fairly, and it's frustrating sometimes for DSP owners because they're self-employed and vans get damaged and whatever else. But I think they have done a really good job of making sure the little guy, as you call them, gets paid. And I think it's changed, obviously, over the years. The drivers have become more of a commodity than they were in COVID times because, there isn't a pandemic happening, so they've got more choice in terms of what they do. But I think, and obviously their frequency of audits has decreased over time, right? They're not as frequent as they used to be, but the standards are still there.
Correct.
Right.
And they do insist on those standards there.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important because, I want to run an ethical and moral business.
Yeah.
And I want to do it correctly. When I set the business up, it wasn't about, how much profit can I make?
Yeah.
Actually, it was about how many people can I provide work to? How many families can I help support
that's great.
by paying them weekly and making sure they do get paid weekly on the same day that they get paid the amount that they've worked for, and there should never, ever be any question about that.
No, sure.
And it should be done properly. So number one, get the people in, give them the money and help them support their families. Then offer people career progression as well. And we talked earlier about how many OSMs and fleet managers and recruitment people we've got. And that's really important. They've all come through the driver ranks.
Yeah.
So people can see that there's a career progression there.
Yeah, cool.
So that's a big, big tick for me.
Yeah.
And then also when people say, right, well, I've achieved everything I can do with Spotted Bee, and now I want to go somewhere else. I celebrate that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I might be a bit annoyed that I'm losing a good person, but if I can't give them more and they can achieve it somewhere else, that is brilliant.
No, we're exactly the same here. I mean, we were, again, chatting about this recently. We've got an amazing retention rate, but the ones that have moved on, have gone with our blessings. Because like you said, if we can't give them the progression that they want, then there's nothing better for... I mean, I got a guy that I'm still friends with now, who, not at Sticky, I worked with him, not at Wise, so I worked with a company called Sticker. And he was a content writer in the marketing team with me. And he always wanted to get into sports journalism.
Right.
And he come to me and said, I'm leaving, I'm going to work for a newspaper. I can't remember what newspaper it was now. And I was absolutely chuffed for him.
Yeah.
And now he works for West Bromwich Albion.
Okay.
He's in their social media team. He spends his life now talking about sport and whatever.
That's what he wants to do.
It's amazing, happy days. I mean, picked West Brom, which obviously, I'm not all against it.
But anyway, but so there's that. So there's that side of it, and then the other side is then working with Amazon and helping them grow the program. And working out what does success look like in the program, and how do I help others with their businesses and growing in the program and getting the best out of it. And I think if you get those two working well together, then the profit comes out of it.
Yeah, cool.
Providing you manage your cash flow. And that's how we want to set up for success all the time.
No, you've got it spot on. I mean, I hope you don't mind me saying, Rob, but there's a reason why we're interviewing you, because you run an amazing operation.
Thank you.
So you definitely want to listen to when it comes to setting these businesses up correctly. Okay, so moving on a little bit, obviously we've spoken a lot about setting up, etc. Looking back on your experience, if you were starting again today, would you do anything differently from what you did the first time around?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah. No, you're expecting that one. But the only thing that I would do is that I would have started repairing the vans a lot earlier and kept on top of that.
Yeah. I've heard this from a lot of people. I think it's underestimated. I think how much that racks up, and actually the cost of repairing them, that racks up as well, right?
Yeah, and that was a challenge because Amazon in the early days, they weren't necessarily interested in it.
Yeah.
And they weren't pushing us to do it. So, the goalposts were then changed probably 3 years ago, 4 years ago. 2-3 years ago, when they said, right, we want the vans now up to a standard. And that was really hard for us to say, right, how are we going to get there? And they put support in place to do it. But that was a challenge. And when those goalposts moved, we need to say, right, well, how do we change? How do we adapt to what's going to happen in the longer term with them? And they're right. The vans do need to look better. They're marketing for Amazon at the end of the day. That's the brand.
Branded, right?
Cool. So we bought into a Chips Away franchise. That would help us. It would help us maybe repair some of the vans, but learn what we needed to do for that. It also helps us repair customers' cars,
of course,
when the vans go into them.
Yeah.
And that's really important that we can try and self-repair things like that, because one of our biggest costs is insurance.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So we want to keep those insurance costs down as much as possible.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is not to have the claims going through the policy.
Course, yeah.
But what we then did after buying the franchise and starting to understand that was then step 2 was to open a body shop.
Yeah.
And I looked around to say, right, should I buy a body shop or should I just start from scratch?
Yeah.
And I just decided to start from scratch.
Wow.
And we bought an empty unit in Trafford Park.
Yeah.
And literally set that up, put the oven in there, got the staff in, and we set it up to a really high standard.
Yeah.
Because the last thing I want is health and safety coming in and say, you haven't got the right ventilation, you haven't got the paint room, you haven't got the right airlines in.
Yeah.
So we did that from day one with that business, that we can now self-repair our vans as well.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily about the fleet that we've had, because it's not that easy to repair that anymore.
Yeah.
But certainly the new fleet that we get in and the vans that we have now, as soon as there's any damage, let's get them in.
Yeah,
let's get them repaired. Let's keep on top of it from day one.
And that's difficult, right? It's difficult to start doing that when you've already got the damage, but
you can't do it
once you to maintain. We probably see, depends on the volume, but 20 to 30 new DSPs per year come through the Amazon program. We'll say to them, right, from our perspective, we've never run a logistics company, but what we hear from everyone else is stay on top of your van damage from day one. Do you know what I mean? They've got a lot more flexibility now than you guys had originally. So there's a lot more ways that you can do that. So if you can stay on top of it, and I think those insurance costs, right? I'm working with the right broker on the insurance side as well. Because you work with...
We're with HRIB.
With HRIB, so working with the right insurance broker, that helps you understand how you manage those claims. And
that's really unbelievable.
Yeah.
That has made a massive difference. And it's about partnerships.
Of course.
And HRIB, they help us manage the claims. They help us understand what the claims are and what that loss ratio is. And we're actually working on having a decrease in our insurance costs this coming year because we've managed that loss ratio correctly and we've managed the damage properly. And it's about reporting things on time, dealing with working with a third party properly. Flock is brilliant. They've got so much safety information on the portal that we have with them that we can see each van every day. We can see what sort of speeds it's going, what sort of risks it's having. We can go on and we can see the speed that the drivers are going on the motorway, for example. And we've seen some frightening speeds.
Oh, really?
Really, really frightening speeds on there. And we just get rid of the drivers.
Yeah, of course. It gives you the data. It gives you the data to be proactive.
Yeah.
Right. You're right. I think that, obviously we've been working with HRIB, Jack and Callum, for about 12 months as well. And the reason we started our sort of partnership with them is what we're trying to do is, for the less experienced DSPs out there, is bring all the great suppliers sort of together so that they get the right advice from day one. And I think what the guys do alongside good DSPs is manage that claims history and the third party notifications and that. What people don't realise is that how much the third party stuff is really where the costs come from, right? So you don't manage it. They go out, they tell their own insurance. They don't care because it's not their fault. So they'll give them
they hire a car.
Yeah, they hire a car and it'll be a super expensive hire car and whatever else. So it's so important, that notification sort of side of it. And I think you've got the right broker, which hats off to the chaps. I know that they've got excellent claims guys on their side as well. You can really manage such an important part of being profitable, right? Keeping that van and that
goes back to that cash flow. It 100%. Really, really does. Is that those costs can run away.
Yeah, cool.
If you've suddenly got an increase for £1,000 a van a year, and you've got 50 vans,
that's your margin.
That's £50,000. It's got to come from somewhere.
No, it has. You're right.
Yeah, that is lost profit at the end of the day.
You touched on it there, Rob. I think you've taken a really interesting journey with what you've done from a logistics perspective, because lots of people, there's no right or wrong here, because I've seen some people do it extremely successfully, but most people go with Amazon? How do I go into other contracts? Whereas I think what you've done is you've looked at the businesses that sort of go around a logistics company, and you've improved your margins for your logistics business, but then you've started business lines with those other businesses. So you've obviously got the Chips Away franchise, which I've been and seen, which is amazing, and I use them myself locally. Shout out to Jason, my Chips Away guy, when I scratch my car, which is frequent. So you started the Chips Away franchise, which is incredible, and then you've also got the other side of it, which is almost before you've even got a driver, which is the recruitment side. So talk to me, what are you doing on that side?
So we just started a company called driverjobs.co.uk.
Great domain.
I know. It says what it is on the tin at the end of the day. One of the frustrations for me that it's not that easy to recruit drivers. They tend to use Indeed as the main portal. And that is it. And that can be quite frustrating because that's quite a generic website.
Yeah, of course.
And it's not specific to our industry. So we did a soft launch last year and we learned a lot within a couple of months. We had half a dozen different companies on there, and we started looking at actually how the marketing would work on it through social media, through Google advertising. And then that's now setting us up for this year, where we'll increase the trial. We're not going to launch big this year, but we'll be able to get multiple different companies on there across the whole of the logistics industry. Whether it's a DSP, a DPD, an Every, FedEx, even Uber Eats. So it's driver jobs. So whether you're doing a bike, an e-cargo, 3.5 ton, 7.5 ton, a big lorry, forklift drivers, small pharmacy vans, small pizza deliveries, it's aimed at 1.3 million people who deliver in the UK. And we'll grow it and we'll work out the best and most effective way to appeal to people looking for driver jobs.
And the great thing is, from your perspective, it services your own business, but then it's a potential secondary business line that can deliver its own profit in an area that you've now got expertise in. Right.
So I want to help my margins on recruitment.
Of course.
That's a massive amount of money we spend each year. We're in tricky areas to recruit in Manchester and Warrington. So we say, right, how can we help ourselves? How can we improve that margin and do things ourselves and then for other people? And then again, with the van damage, we want to do that internally as well, to try and keep those margins down and keep the insurance margins down as well. So it's looking at that side of the business before we then look at expanding into other carriers and then using best practice as we go into those as well.
It's definitely a really clever way of doing it. I've seen, I think a few other business owners have sort of started to look at doing the same thing, right? So I know that Rob from Starlight has got a tyre business, and then Jamie Hardy's got his body shop now.
He's opened that. Looks great.
Looks amazing, doesn't it? So I think it's definitely a really... And because you guys are all so geographically spread, especially for like vehicle repairs, you can... Every single DSP could, in theory, have one. And wouldn't be treading on each other's toes. Do you know what I mean? So it does, that side of it works really well. But I think the driver job side of it is a really interesting side because, I know that for DSPs, Indeed aren't particularly popular, and it's nothing against, I think, Indeed necessarily.
It's just the expense.
It's just the expense, Indeed have absolutely smashed it. Right, they've become destination site for recruitment. Basically, even when we're hiring people, I'm like, stick it on Indeed for a bit before we go to a recruitment agency, because we've had some amazing people come through Indeed. So I think, but like you said, the cost of it, because everyone uses it, the cost of it is just gone through the roof, right?
During peak, it is eye-watering.
And you've got no choice, you've got to use them.
No, we've got to use them.
No, fair play to them. They really have got a monopoly. But that's what monopolies happens to monopolies, like they get broken eventually.
And we will do, and we'll build a good business out of it.
No, I'm sure of that,
and we know that we can work with the rest of the delivery community to build something that, as I say, is very specific and it appeals for a driver looking for a job.
No, definitely. All right, Rob, we're getting sort of towards the end here, but I guess what I'd like to finish on is your ambitions, I guess. Where do you want to take? I know this isn't a scripted question either.
No, I know. I expected this one.
Yeah, as I've listened to you talking, and you've talked about like your driver jobs, and your Chips Away franchise, and Spotty B as a logistics company. Have you got sort of where you want it to get to, or is it just like as the sky's the limit almost?
The sky is a limit on it to a certain extent. Yeah. I'm enjoying building the body shop. That's been really, really good fun. I think had I known it was going to cost me so much money when I started it, I might have said, should I be doing that? But actually it's been worth the investment.
Okay.
I can really see the positive impact on the bottom line as we get into year 2 for it. I can see how much it's saving me, but also there's a revenue stream coming in. And I'm almost using the revenue that's coming in for it to pay for my end of fleet that's coming up.
Wow,
that's my war chest for end of fleet.
Okay.
So that's going to help me as far as that's concerned.
Okay.
And then I'm excited about driver jobs,
of course,
as well. And to see where that takes us.
Yeah, definitely.
And how we can grow that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, I'm sure there's going to be more opportunities in Amazon. And then potentially with other providers as well.
And you've got the infrastructure, right, to do all of the vehicle stuff and all the recruitment and whatever else.
And then it's having the team.
Yeah.
It really is. It's about saying, right, who are the right people that can help on that journey? And where do they slot into it?
No,
I'm always looking for that. How can I progress someone else's career? How can I give them the new skills?
That's a nice
and give them new responsibility to do things.
Yeah, sure. And you can't do everything yourself either, right?
No,
you got that's something that I have to admit as well that I'm a bit of a control freak myself. Not because I want to do all the work, so I definitely don't. But when you're a business owner, you want the quality to always be there, right?
Just tell me what's going on.
And sometimes you have to appreciate that not everyone's going to treat your business as you would. But you do get certain people that you hire and you progress that do start treating it like that, and you got those people are worth their weight in gold, right?
But I think that's important though. When you recruit people, do you recruit people that are like you? Which I think you naturally do, because that's what you want to be seen in the business. And then do you also recruit people that have skills that you don't have? And sometimes you've got to get that mix in there, because you've got to have people that have got the same beliefs and morals that you've got.
100%.
And that aren't going to put your business at risk.
Ethics, and we were talking about this as we're doing a bit of a values piece as a business, and I think a value that really shines through at Wise, and I think it has to shine through in logistics, is hard work. Do you know what I mean? And I'm a big believer in hard work. It's the old cheesy phrase, right? That hard work can definitely outdo talent. Do you know what I mean? When talent doesn't work hard, do you know what I mean? It's that old piece, right? But if you can get that blend right of people that work hard and the talented, then you've really got something going.
You want commitment from people.
You do,
and you pay for that commitment.
Exactly.
And reward people.
Exactly.
It's all about rewarding people.
And
showing them what the incentives are to be successful.
Agreed. No, definitely. Rob, I've really enjoyed this. So,
thanks, Dan.
But before we wrap up, if you were giving maybe 1 or 2 insights or 2 key takeaways to anyone that's either currently running a logistics business or thinking of starting a logistics business, what would you say your key? I think I know what you're going to say, but what would you say your key sort of insight would be? What would be your number 1 takeaway, I guess?
It's probably all about having the right people with you. Working hard. Taking some risks.
Okay.
You got to take risks. Sometimes got to have the pockets to say, right, okay, I'm going to gamble on this a little bit. Some of it's not about just looking at a spreadsheet. It can often be, right, what's my heart telling me, what's my gut telling me to do with it, and you take those risks along the way. But just do it properly. Plan. Take the right risks.
Calculated risks.
Yes. Don't take stupid risks. That's not worth it.
No.
You'll always get caught out.
And
then work with your team, and then work with your customers
and
your suppliers as well. And you know, if you do all work together, then everyone benefits. And, that's one thing that I love with Wise is that we do work together. We've got a really good relationship.
No, we really have.
And we help each other out.
No,
and it's almost like family community.
No, it is.
That we're there for each other.
Yeah.
And that might sound a bit cheesy at times, but do you know what? You need it. You need people to talk to.
Yeah.
You need people to bounce ideas off. You know, be a bit lonely running a business. And I'm sure you feel that as well.
Definitely. Yeah. You have the right people around you, definitely. Because it is the stress and, sometimes you don't get everything, especially when you're taking risks, right? You don't get everything right.
Correct.
So
make mistakes.
You make mistakes.
Learn from the mistakes.
Exactly.
Frustrating, but learn from them.
Yeah.
And, also encourage your team members to make their own decisions.
Yeah.
And if they make a mistake, it's fine. Make a mistake once, don't make it again.
No, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Make it a second time, then we'll have a conversation. But but sometimes one of the team members will say, I'm going to do this. I'm thinking, no, just don't do that. But I've got to let them make that mistake.
No, you're right.
Yeah, as long as it's not going to be a massive mistake.
No, you're
try
right.
to see what it is.
That trust factor, right, is really important.
But then own it.
Yeah.
Own that mistake. If you make a mistake, if you cock up, which everyone does, own it. And say, right, how do we make this better? How do we put it right?
Yeah, I say to my guys all the time, I'll make a mistake every day, right?
But only one?
Only one, occasionally,
yeah.
No, but I think if you when you try new stuff and you're taking risks, you are going to make mistakes, and as long as they're not, catastrophic, you can. I think it's a key thing for me when you're running a business is. I think that you've mentioned risk and whatever else. I sort of think of it as almost like bravery, right?
Yeah.
And you've got to. At some point, you're right, these decisions, you don't always have the data in front of you, but you've got to go, what do I think is the best thing to do? And you do it. And if you're wrong, you quickly pivot and you go back.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And you can do that. And I don't think you'd have a business or we'd have a business if we hadn't along the journey gone, oh, what do we think about doing this? And, let's take a gamble on it. And you'll take some we call them big bets, right? So we try and have a big bet every year.
Yeah.
And we have to put some cash into it. And some of the bets pay off and some of them don't. But if you get the vast majority right. Do you know what I mean? It's
just like taking those 10 vans on at that first Christmas.
Yeah, that's right. It's
we took the bet. You took the gamble, went out, sourced them.
Yeah.
Told we were going to get paid for them.
Yeah.
And we did. Yeah. And it worked. And we grew. We massively grew as a result of it. And that sets us up for success into the following years and then moving forward after that.
Love it. Rob, pleasure to have you, my friend.
Thank you, Dan.
Good to see you again.
And you. Good luck in Istanbul.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah, enjoy the trip.
Hopefully, when this goes out, we're Europa League champions. Hopefully. If I'm not, then I'm going to have a right egg on my face. I expect to be abused in the comments section. Well, if we're not...
you might get abused anyway. But...
I might get abused anyway, but if we don't, then I expect lots of abuse. But I know if we do, I won't get any praise. I've accepted that. I'm not going to get congratulations, Dan. So that's fine.
We film it then. So, sorry that you lost in it.
Yeah, we're going to win. We're going to be trying to win.
There you go.
Right. Rob, thanks, mate.
Thanks, Dan.
Cheers.